Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a little bit different video. I actually hit my local Salvation Army and I found 2 cast iron skillets. Now, if you know much about cast iron skillets, they are wonderful, wonderful cooking essentials to cook. I wholeheartedly, strongly believe in it. I am a vegetarian, so this is really helpful for me to, get a lot of iron from these cast iron skillets, and I love cooking with them. So if you're ever at a Salvation Army, Goodwill, or garage sale or anything, and you see any cast iron skillets or pots or things like that, you probably want to snag them up because you can get them for a few bucks versus purchasing them brand new. However, when you purchase these skillets or pots or things like that at a secondhand place, they usually are in those places for a reason, meaning that there's rust or they weren't taken care of or anything like that. So today I'm going to show you how I season and clean up my cast iron skillets so that I'm able to use them week after week, day after day for cooking. Now, I don't boil water in my skillets, I don't make soups in them, but I do make some sauces in them. I do a lot of things with these skillets. I saute vegetables and fruit and things of that nature. So I found this little mini one right here that's perfect for just like if I'm going to do a little small plate of sauteed vegetables or fry an egg or anything like that. Fruit, probably not necessarily, but you can fry fruit or things like that. And it doesn't even have to be frying. It could just be browning or cooking them. I also bake with these. This is wonderful because I don't have to buy separate baking dishes. I can bake my potatoes in here, or I can bake like a pasta dish, or I can bake bread and brownies in these things. They're wonderful. And I got this heavy duty one. These things travel with me when I'm camping or when I'm able to use a stove. I use these. I don't believe in the Teflon at all. I don't like them. But however, when I do use these, I try to use wooden spoons or plastic spoons with them. I try not to use any metal things just because it takes off the coating of the seasoning. I want to kind of preserve it as long as possible. So let's go ahead and get started on this DIY on how to season and clean up our cast iron skillets. You can use these for pots as well. You could do this simple recipe or these simple things to your pots as well if you find them. And if you find any secondhand cast iron skillets or pots or things like that, let me know in the comments below because I'd love to hear where you're picking up those items at and how much you're picking them up for. I got mine for a couple dollars each basically. So for 2 of the skillets I got for under 10. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. So let's get started. So I'm super excited to find these 2 finds that I found at my local Salvation Army. They are 2 cast iron or some type of iron skillets. So I got a large one and a small one. And if you look in the back, this one is made in the USA and it says Lodge. And it says 10SK made in the USA and it's Lodge. This one is a little bit different company. And I can't really make out the name or the symbols, so maybe someone can help me out in the comments below. It's a little tricky because it's a little embedded in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season these, clean these up, and use these. Cast iron skillets or pots of anything is great because it actually leaks out iron. And because I'm a vegetarian, this is just a great way, especially if I make like a tomato sauce or saute vegetables, this is a great way for me just to get a little extra iron. So as you can see, there's some rust in there, and I'm going to kind of go through it and see if I can scrub some of it off. I do not want to use like any type of metal or still wool. I think it's called still wool. I kind of want to use a sponge and see what I can scrape off. And I'm going to try, I kind of did some research, some of this kosher salt. So we're going to go and we're going to take it, put it in the sink, and we're going to use some of this kosher salt to hopefully get some of the rust off. I did preheat my oven, as you heard it beeping, at 500 because I am going to season these 2 today. As you can see, I'm putting some salt all through both of the rod or cast iron skillets, and then I'm going to put them in the sink kind of to make a paste and use a sponge to kind of get some of that rust off. And the oven's still preheating at 500, and I'm also going to use to season it today coconut oil. This is really great to use for seasoning your cast iron skillet. As you can see, I took the kosher salt and I put a little bit of water in there, and I'm going to take a sponge and I'm going to kind of get some of the rust off before I start putting the coconut oil in there. So I'm going to give this a good cleaning. It's probably going to take me about 5 minutes to get both pans, maybe a little more, and then I'm going to dry it really well. Here I am drying it really well, making sure I get in all the crevices before I start putting the coconut oil inside and cooking it and seasoning it. Alright, so I'm taking a bit of the coconut oil and I placed it inside the skillet, and I'm taking a paper towel and I'm going to rub this generously through both of the skillets to get them quite even with the coconut oil. I want a kind of not a thick layer, but not a thin layer. So in between on both of the skillets. Okay, I'm just about done. Now remember, when you're done seasoning these the first time, I usually do this about 3 times minimum. Sometimes I can get away with 2. When you're done using them, you're never going to clean them with soap. You're only going to clean them with warm water and a sponge. And you're always going to make sure they're really, really dry, because you do not want the skillet in between when you're seasoning it to get rusty and yucky and gooey. And then usually when I'm done cleaning it and I dry it up real well, I take a thin layer of the coconut oil, very thin layer, just to kind of keep it a little bit longer. And I don't even have to do this again till probably, I usually do it every quarterly. So every fall, winter, spring, and summer. And these two, like I said, they're both a great find. You can find these at Salvation Armies, Goodwills, garage sales. So always look on a lookout for them, because they're great. They're just awesome. They're not just for cornbread. I make sauces in this. I make soups in these things. I cook vegetables. I saute just about anything and everything. So I've even made cinnamon rolls in these and breads in these. So these are just great. Brownies. Brownies is another thing. So once I've done that, I'm going to put it in my preheated oven at 500 degrees for 1 hour, and I'm going to check on it and we'll see what we do next. Okay, there they are, all nestled in the oven. We're going to check back in an hour. As you can see, I just did the first hour and they're piping hot. I'm going to put another layer of the coconut oil in there and give it a good moisten with the coconut oil around the skillets, and then put it back in the oven for another hour just to give it a really good thick seasoning and coating. So I have the oil in there, and very cautiously I'm going to rub it along the sides and all around the skillet, just being careful not to burn myself. I'm back in the oven for 500 degrees for another hour, and we should be ready, set to go. Alright, as you can see, they're smoking, piping hot. I'm going to let them cool in the oven for about an hour before I handle them, but then I'm going to clean off any residue and they should be ready to go. So if you enjoy these type of videos, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure I do more videos like that. If you want to see some recipes and some things that I cook with my cast iron skillets, please let me know. And other than that, you guys have a great day, and remember to hit subscribe. Talk to you soon.